I have no idea. Gar Foreman and John Paxson are not the type of people to go out and make a blockbuster trade at the deadline. We've seen it in the past. I think the last trade that they made was for John Salmons, like a big time piece. Love John Salmons, but that's just really not their style. There's been some rumors with Taj Gibson and Patrick Patterson reported by Zach Lowe this morning. Patrick Patterson is a guy on Toronto who is kind of another stretch four, who would fit well with the offense, but defensively he's not a good rim protector.
Yeah.
You'd obviously lose a lot in defensive end with Taj. And I think people in the locker room really love Taj, and they would definitely...
I feel like they've been trying to trade Taj for a while now.
Yeah, which is too bad because I definitely think he could start on a lot of teams in this league. He's been pretty consistent, and he's going to bring the energy and the attitude every night, working on the glass and all this stuff. So he's a guy who I feel is kind of underappreciated. And a lot of people kind of want to see this team just blow up. Gar and Pax just trade everyone and start over.
I'm being completely honest, I kind of want to see that.
Blake wants to see it.
I love seeing teams blow up.
I want the Bulls to retool in a smart way. Bring in players that are built for Hoiberg's system to really give Hoiberg a shot, and have some new toys to play with, stuff like that.
I just look at their current roster, and I know there's a lot of young pieces on the team, but I feel like the overall talent level is actually pretty low.
I would agree with you.
And, you know, some of the more top-end guys, the guys that are producing more are, you know, up there in age, or it's Derrick Rose, who you don't know what you're going to get night after night. So,
yeah, you have guys like Pau, Jimmy, and Derek, and then the rest of the roster is a big question mark. You don't know what you're going to get out of the Tony Snells of the world, Doug McDermott's, the Nikos, whenever he gets back from...
I feel like they need to make...
A big splash,
because they're kind of stuck.
They're stuck. They're in no man's land. They're not contenders, but they're not bottom feeders.
Yeah, exactly. They're in that weird position where you don't know exactly where their standing is in the NBA.
The only reason I'm reluctant to any of this is because I know how the front office works for them, and they're extremely conservative.
Yeah.
Garpax, they don't like making moves, man, and I don't really understand why. But I just don't see a huge blockbuster trade happening. If they do make a huge blockbuster trade, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But
the NBA, I feel like I can't even really think of a blockbuster trade at the trade deadline that really like turned a team's luck around, or you know,
that's true.
That just seems like a thing that doesn't really happen in the NBA.
True, that is true. So we'll see what happens. Trade deadline's coming up on Thursday. We'll be sure to talk about that next week. Yep, I'll be writing about it. We'll see if the Bulls make any
NHL trade deadline's also coming up.
That is true, but I don't really see the Hawks making any moves.
I think we're definitely going to see a move, yeah.
Winger? We talked about last week.
Probably winger, yeah.
Any names that jump out?
Not at the top of my head, but I'm sure, you know, Bowman has
Stan's
some
working.
ideas. Yeah.
Stan is working. So
He's
we'll update
his eye on
both
someone.
trade deadlines next week. Make sure to talk about them. Let's talk about happy things. We talk about happy
I love
stuff.
happy things.
We're going to talk a little Cubs baseball as spring training is right around the corner.
Tomorrow is catchers and pitchers reporting.
I believe so. Tomorrow or Thursday?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
We had some early arrivals. Rizzo, Hayward, Arrieta,
Schwarber.
Contreras, and the Schwarbo.
The Schwarman. Baby.
Bam Bam.
Manchild.
All right. Blake wants to give Schwarber the nickname Manchild, but I think that's...
I like the name. I liked it on Sod, but he's... Rest in peace in Columbus.
I don't like reusing nicknames.
Well, sometimes you gotta do it because it's a good nickname. I like it.
You're ridiculous. But yes, Cubs. Getting very close to the start here. We are very excited about Cubs baseball. It's good to see those guys getting in there early, getting some work done.
Yeah.
Rizzo, Hayward, Arrieta, all those guys.
Hayward was there like a week and a half.
Hayward's ready to go.
Week and a half. He's been there for a while.
He's been ready to go. What are you most excited about for spring training? So we kind of get into it.
For spring training?
Yes.
I'm
excited about the bullpen battles.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they have a ton of bullpen arms and just like battling for different spots in the bullpen.
Yeah, that will be interesting to watch.
Be fun to see.
Because then there's a lot of guys battling for that 5 spot too.
Mm-hmm. The Adam Warrens of the world and the
Adam
Hendricks.
Warrens and Cahills and all those guys.
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun to see.
It's really nice to have that issue going into spring training too, where there's a lot of depth on your bullpen.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
And we're going to get more into the Cubs on Thursday. We're going to do a little bonus episode where it's all Cubs talking spring training. We're both very excited about that.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of reading. I just bought Baseball Prospectuses 2016.
That giant book.
Yes, I just bought that.
Those books are great.
A lot of great projections on there.
Tons of information.
Yeah, so I've been geeking out.
And that's a good...
It's a good resource to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Check it out on Amazon and also baseballprospectus.com.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good stuff on there as we dive into spring training.
Anything you want to know about baseball.
They have everything.
In the present moment.
Yes, and for today. We'll be talking more about Cubs.
We're talking a lot of Cubs.
A lot of Cubs. But I'm also excited to see some of the young guns, the Almoras, the Contrerases.
Yeah. We'll see if there's any names that really stick out.
Yeah.
Last year it was Caesar.
Oh, hail Caesar.
What do you have, like Chris had 9 home runs in spring training or something like that. Caesar had 5 or 6 too. It was...
Shout out to Villanova. That's where he's from. Played football in there at Villanova. So we'll see who steps out, who makes a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that on Thursday. Is the bonus episode day, so be on the lookout for that.
Get excited.
I'm going to say goodbye here to a good friend of the program.
Long-time listener
of all 3 episodes. Matt Forte. See you, buddy. We're going to miss you.
Bye-bye.
I will miss you.
I will miss him.
But it was time for Matt Forte to go bye-bye.
Yeah, not unexpected.
Not at all.
Not at all. Saw this coming.
He put out a nice Instagram post for all of us and thanked the Bears organization. And it was classy. Very classy.
Yeah.
But Ryan Pace...
Well, he's a classy guy.
He is. He's always been a good locker room guy. Always been good for the Bears.
Always been good to the fans. Just all around, really good Bear.
Really good Bear. Will go down as a great Bear.
Yes.
So we're just going to dive into some reflections right now about Matt Forte and some of our favorite moments.
Yeah.
For me, Blake, one of my favorite Matt Forte moments was that game in London in 2011, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was right after the Bears had signed Matt Forte to a deal coming out of his rookie contract. And some people were a little bit iffy on the deal, but he came out that game in London and just destroyed Tampa Bay. Scored an early touchdown in that game, and the Bears.
That was a really vintage Matt Forte. He did catching the ball out of the backfield, long stretch runs. He had 2 big touchdowns. I'm not sure if he had 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 long runs in that game.
Mm-hmm. So that was a very cool moment for me. Another thing that I found interesting was the season where Matt Forte had the most carries in his career at the Bear was his rookie season.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising for me. I don't know. I would definitely think maybe the year after that contract year, he would get more carries, but he had over 300 carries that rookie season. That was kind of surprising looking over his stats.
They really liked him right off the bat.
It's awesome. Do you have a favorite Matt Forte moment or something that jumps out to you about
There's a
Matt
couple
Forte?
games that I think about, but the one I'd have to go with is 2 years ago. I know it's the Trestman year, but...
Shout out to Trestman. Never mind. I take that back.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chloe.
Shout out to Chloe. It's the game where, I think it was against the Lions, where he passed the reception record for running backs.
I remember that.
It wasn't a great season by any means, but to have him in the record books as a Bear is pretty cool. And, it kind of speaks to how much he was used in the offense. I mean, he had 102 receptions as a running back, so that's insane. I mean, most ever. So, yeah, that'd probably be my favorite moment.
That is a cool moment.
Yeah.
Just
even in a down year.
Just some stats for Matt Forte as a Chicago Bear. He ends his time with the Bears with 8,602 rushing yards, over 4,000 receiving yards, and he even tried to throw the ball once in 2011.
I don't remember that.
It was not completed. He's 0 for 1 in his career as a
not a QB
passer. Not a QB.
Not a QB.
Not on the scouting report.
On the scouting report.
So, Blake, let me ask you now, as Matt Forte leaves,
yeah,
where is he going? Where's he going to end up?
I've thought about this. Everyone on Twitter has been saying the Patriots. I've heard the Packers. I think he will go to a contender. There's a couple teams. I kind of like the Seahawks for him.
Really?
Yeah, I think that'd be a nice fit. He can kind of go anywhere and fit in. He's that kind of player. He can kind of just play whatever style he's asked to play. So
he's not too picky. He's not a guy who's gonna throw some shade at coaches and stuff like that. He's gonna
he
do his job.
Yeah, he kind of keeps his head down.
Does his job,
Does his job, puts up those numbers.
I'd like to see him go somewhere and win. New England obviously just jumps out at me.
Possibly Denver too.
Have you heard the RG3 rumors to Denver? Have you heard about that?
I've heard them for LA.
Yeah, I heard there was some rumor on Twitter this week about if the money was right, RG3 could end up in Denver, which would be interesting, but I don't think that would be necessarily a good move.
Maybe.
Possibly. I don't
think
really like RG3.
Well, now it's hard to,
really
say
like
you
him.
like him, but, I mean, I liked him coming out as a rookie.
That's true. That's true.
I could talk hours about RG3, but...
Not very important.
Not very important. Just a backup for Cousins.
Just you like that. You like that.
He does not like that.
RG3 hates that.
He does not.
Let's get to some meatballs. Over the weekend, it was funny hanging out with some of the kids that I work with.
Yeah.
They called me a meatball at least 20 times this weekend.
Well, it's accurate.
Am I the meatball of the week?
You are.
I'm one of them. That hurts my soul. I don't want to be a meatball. There was a guy who tweeted at you last night, Blake.
Yes.
About this Blackhawks Toronto game. And,
yes.
I took a little picture of it here, and I'm going to read off what he said to you. His name, I'm just going to throw out his Twitter handle if you guys want to
do it.
Jump on him. At KWUser21. You're a fool, man. He said, at Soldier Field BLG, LOL, Hawks are going to lose in the most embarrassing way to an AHL-laden NHL team. Well, Clayton, they put up a 7 spot on that AHL-laden team that was supposed to beat the Blackhawks. So
I tweeted him every period.
What did you say to him?
Just like, how you feeling? What's up?
How you doing, guy? How does it feel to be a meatball? So that guy is one of our meatballs of the week to join myself.
Yeah, he was, Twitter, man.
Chock full of meatballs.
It was like 50% meatballs, 50% normal people. Everyone else.
The crazy people, like Kanye West.
He's a meatball.
Kanye West is a meatball, too, because he's not putting his album on iTunes. Only on Tidal, which is pretty much like the worst music streaming.
I don't even know what that is.
It's awful. It's bombed crazy. You're a meatball, too, Blake, because you think Yeezus is a better album than The Life of Pablo.
I don't like either that much.
Well, that's a shame.
And that's on the record.
Because I listened to The Life of Pablo, and I thought it was pretty phenomenal.
How about that phenomenal album cover?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting. That's a
fun
way to put it.
You just have The Life of Pablo, Life of Pablo, Life of Pablo, like over and over again, and then like a butt right there. Just like just a butt on the album cover. So interesting. But Kanye, you're a meatball. And of course, our